Thanks for tuning in to Real Talk and Whatnot. I'm your host, Micah Diele, and if you're new to this podcast, this is a show where I highlight the talented individuals who live within the Central Valley of California, as well as people in general who are passionate about what they do. Once again, I'm going to remind you guys about reviews and downloads. Make sure that you're downloading every single podcast you listen to on whatever podcast app you use, as well as leave a review on Apple Podcasts. And even if you don't use Apple Podcasts, you can always just log on to your iTunes account on your computer and leave a review there. That would really help out the show. And if you are watching this on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to this YouTube channel, as well as go to a podcast app and just download the episode just to show your support so I can really get the accurate number of how many people are actively listening to this podcast. Once again, I'm going to shout out the towns who have been listening to it the most, and once again, I'm blown away by the support I've gotten. Never like, I always thought I would get a podcast at some point. Never would I have thought it would be this type of podcast, or I don't know, just as well as it's been doing. And I just want to really say thank you if you're listening to this right now. Once again, shout out to Sacramento, shout out to Merced, of course, Anchorage, Alaska. You guys, come on. Anchorage, Alaska people, I really appreciate the support I'm getting. Please find me on Instagram, micah.diele, micah.diele. Let me know why you like this podcast, because I would really love to hear that. Hugh, Ohio also. Hugh, Ohio, same message goes for you guys. Please find me. Really happy that you guys are listening. I just would like to know who's out there listening, why you like the show. Atwater, California, Bakersfield, El Cerrito, got some people in France, Portland, Oregon, Chicago, Illinois, South Lake City, Utah. I think that's Mike Jones. But thank you guys again. I really appreciate the support. And now let's jump into today's podcast episode. So today's podcast episode is the first returning guest. It's James Busbea, or as I like to call him, James Busbea. A really good friend of mine, one of my best friends, and we kind of just talk about where we think the show's headed, the past 20 episodes, and, just kind of banter back and forth just about everything in life. We try to figure out the homeless problem at one point. We try to, we got pretty deep in here, deeper than I thought that we would, and I truly enjoyed the episode. We dressed up as cowboys because that is who our characters are in our short film, and we even watch our short film on this episode. So I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoy it too. It was a celebratory 20th episode. Didn't know if I was going to air it, but I am going to air it. So I hope you guys enjoy it. So without further ado, please welcome James Busbea. This is it. Real talk and whatnot.
Real talk. That's what it is. Real talk. Real talk. Real talk.
Well. If it is an episode number 20, people.
We've made it.
I have.
I say we've like I've been here the whole time.
You have. You've heard about every episode from me.
That was the first. Don't you forget it.
Yep. You popped my
podcast cherry.
Yeah,
and I named you afterwards.
Yeah, you named me during it. You're like, actually, no, you don't want it to be named that. And I did want it to be named Real Talk. Plus Joe Rogan on the...
Didn't that work out? We predicted the future.
And Freddie Gibbs. Like, what two better people in the world?
That was when my worlds collided. Like
a crossover episode?
Yeah, because Freddie Gibbs has been my favorite rapper for the past... Probably listen 2017, 18. And I've always listened to Joe Rogan. So I was like, wait a minute, how did that happen?
Yeah, and it was just so comical just because... Just the things that they were talking about.
To be real, it wasn't my favorite episode, to be honest. Not that, I was expecting it to be,
Yeah, but, some episodes are really entertaining.
Yeah, it was cool, though. Mm-hmm. I was happy to see that it happened.
Yeah. There was some other guy there.
I feel like the other dude was the reason why Freddie Gibbs was there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was
But I can't remember who the other dude is. So, shout out to the other guy.
The other guy.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, so I got a question for you, Mr.
Dude,
Micah.
Please ask me a question because every single time I have a podcast, I always tell people hey.
It's a lot of pressure to be the man with all the questions.
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, if you ever want to shoot me a question, shoot me a question. And every time it's a few of them do, but sometimes I'm like,
do you explain to your guests that hey, so I have a series of questions that I want to ask you, but I want this to be as natural and organic. So feel free to ask me whatever, talk to me this is our first date. I guess so to say, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, but no.
Yeah.
No, but I do kind of run them down with hey, I'm going to ask you some questions. I give them a 15-second spiel generally right before we're about to start. I go we sit down, I say hey, I have some questions right here. I'm going to read some of them to you real quick just so you can kind of mentally prepare.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there. And then it's like, and I always say, you can ask me anything you want, like totally down. Like the conversation's just gonna carry itself, pretty much.
Do you, on average, do you think you have like your questions done like it goes wherever you get them done? I guess.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, do you have them done like the day before, like a week, like?
So I really got to get them done because I'm having this guy who has another podcast come on. And so, like,
Photographer's Mindset.
yeah,
one?
exactly.
He's
Seth
coming
Macy. He's coming on
Nice.
April 26th, I believe, which will come out in May, but
Yeah.
probably the end of May for all I know.
Yeah, that's all right.
But so he's coming on, so I'm gonna prepare for him a little more. But it depends. So if it's like an artist, you know, it's like I already have a list of artist questions, like musician questions. I have it labeled, and so for me there, I'll just go to it, and then per person, I'll kind of think of it generally a couple days before, day before, day of, you know.
Yeah. I guess the only reason I asked was because I was going to be like, maybe you could like shoot them the questionnaire like the day of or day before.
Possibly.
But you know what? You probably don't even need to do that.
Because then I don't want.
It's less organic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't want like a
premeditated answers.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
shit. You want it raw, that real talk.
Yeah, and whatnot. Maybe we'll add that to the end of it as well.
Yes, sir. So how's it been, man? 20 episodes deep.
20 episodes deep. I never thought it would get to what it is, and it's not like it's like something that's really big or anything, but it's just more people listen to it than I thought would, and then just like people's reactions to it, like people wanting to come on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you've had like a good amount of people like reach out and like.
Yeah,
it's surprising, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very surprising.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, and I was waiting
not
for that
in
to happen.
Like a condescending or disrespectful kind of way,
it's
but like you.
No,
I
I was waiting for it to happen too, because I was like, eventually someone's gonna but for like the first like 15, I'm like hitting up you know what I mean?
Yeah, now you got people like.
But yeah, now I have people hitting me up, and now I have people that I want to get on. I have like a list of like the next 15, 20 people I want, and since then, like a couple people have hit me up, and I'm like, well, I do want to get you guys on too.
Yeah.
But it's just like, and I don't know, it's like it became way more of a music podcast than not music, but like musician. Or I mean,
artists.
Yeah,
you feature a lot of artists.
Yeah, exactly. And I never went into it like, oh, I'm gonna have a live performance on my show. It was just. I thought of like everything in the podcast
as it comes, man. It just develops. You know what I mean?
It was just the studio at first with the other or other things, you know, and then we added the Real Talk sign, and then
as it comes, it develops. It's just gonna be whatever
and
it
it's
is.
like and Money Boys, I did an intro to like his hype man to his song, and it was so great.
Yeah.
It was just, I just couldn't stop.
I need to watch that one.
Dude, me and Duffy were like, when Duffy was in here when we were doing it, and like we were just like, Duffy's like, oh, hold on. And he's like adding more reverb to it and stuff like that. So it just like sounds like it's just part of the song.
It's got the hype.
Yeah, it's so good. But I'm gonna start doing that for all my artist songs.
Yeah, sounds good. I like it.
Are you performing today?
Well, you may wonder for the viewers out there why we have our fucking
if you're
cowboy outfits. We're like 5 minutes deep and we haven't even addressed the elephant in the room. Is that we're both dressed like cowboys.
Yes, and I started it a little differently. This podcast. Well.
And
if you're fans of us, you guys,
you should know the reference.
Yes.
But if you don't know the reference, you will know the reference because we're going to feature our short film that we did back in September, I guess. Right?
Man, really?
I guess it's been that long. But we're going to watch it.
Yeah.
Are we going to like live?
We're going to watch it. It's going to pop up
commentate?
right here. Yeah, we're going to live commentate on it.
Okay.
But before that happens, we're going to have a few beers, you know. Yeah, we got a little whiskey, celebratory 20th episode.
Yeah, show them that bottle. Bring that in. We got a fine Maker's Mark. It's good whiskey. I really like Maker's. It's like my go-to whiskey, honestly.
I like this, but I really like Basil Hayden. Basil Hayden's. I don't know. Have I had it with you? I generally will buy a bottle every now and then, but it's just so freaking expensive. Like the small bottle's like $20. But it's freaking good. It's like
that's why I like Makers too, because it's super smooth, but it's like at a good price.
Yeah.
It's not cheap, but it's not like
it's like there's a whole step up from Jack Daniels, and like this is, you know what I mean? Like on like if it was the wine rack, the lowest.
You just blew that Jack Daniels sponsor, bro.
I would love to have anybody.
Makers, you know.
Makers, look at this.
Get my boy.
Makers Liquid Death. That's just a water bottle company that uses cans. I'm such a big fan of like water in cans. I had my first one recently, and like ever since then.
I have not had water in a can, but I believe it. So we're gonna go ahead and pour a shot or a sipper. I don't know. How do you want to do this?
We can do one shot. We can do one shot, but we
For
also
a little bit of context. We already had a few drinks prior to the starting of this show.
The nerves, you know.
I don't even know if it was nervous. It was complete nonsense. We were laughing our asses off.
Yeah. It was. I thought we were gonna do the podcast like that, and then we ate. We hadn't eaten anything. We had a couple beers.
Is that a bitch shot or is that a?
I think that's a good. I mean,
okay.
If that's a bitch shot, I'll pour me a bitch shot too.
Consider me a bitch. It's a man shot right there.
That is a man shot.
Oh,
what the hell?
Cowboy.
Okay, yeah, you got the.
God damn it.
Sorry, man. My show, my rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we are.
All right, there we go.
All right.
So, I want to toast to
episode 20.
Episode 20.
To our short film. That's the reason we look like complete idiots right now. I actually think we look pretty dope.
We do, yeah. Honestly, we do. We look like we're on the same team right now, though. And
they're in for a surprise.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, you guys, it's really good. All right.
Anything else?
Now, episode 20, to what the future of this podcast holds, and to a great podcast today.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers.
Didn't even chase it, man.
I know. I was thinking that we don't have it.
Yeah.
And he's good though.
I'm telling you, it's good whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck Jack Daniels. We like Maker's Mark here.
That's right.
Just kidding, Jack Daniels. If you're going to sponsor me, that's okay. I'll be brought to you by.
You blew that. You blew that. Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah.
So, Pentagon, UFOs, aliens. That just came out. That came out yesterday. That's when you were flying the drone at the real estate property. I was just like,
I was so distracted. So we
sorry,
were.
I did not help you at all. I was just like, sorry, man.
So we were doing some real estate drone photography, and we kind of had to be like secretive about it because the tenants were super weird.
Yeah, it was just like I feel like. Can we go segue real quick? I feel like when you go into real estate stuff, like you just do stuff you never thought you would.
Yeah. I mean, just never what you expect.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm trying to fly up the drone, and this is like our second time flying it up because we had to like move locations or whatever. And then we're both in the car, and all I hear is like the Pentagon, UFOs, everything's going on, and I'm like trying to fly the drone.
Blimp shaped.
Yeah, and I was just like, what is going on over there? And then you showed me the video. And then I went home and watched more videos. Dude. It was crazy because like all major news networks were covering it. Fox, I think CNN, maybe CBS.
Let's be real, Fox is the only one that matters to us.
That's right. When we wear these hats, I don't even know what CNN is. But dude, isn't it fucking crazy?
Those videos were like, I was like, okay, if that's like it looks like something that's fake, you know, it'd be like a horrible radar reading.
It doesn't look like anything I haven't seen, right?
Yeah, but it's a real, but the fact that it's a real radar reading and it's not from like a video game or something.
No, what makes this case different is the source, the proof of source, and then who's talking about it. Because for like our whole lives growing up, like, you know, aliens were almost kind of like taboo and UFOs of that sort. Yeah. Especially when we were younger, I kind of felt like it's kind of like, that's kind of weird. Like, nah, I don't believe in aliens. Or people that say that. I thought it was the most ridiculous thing ever. But now, you know, fast forward, it's 2021 and we got Fox News covering stuff, talking about how the Pentagon is going to release more information in June. I'm like, it's just so strange. And like,
the thing about these sources too is like, there's so many, it's not like one radar reading or stuff like that. It's like multiple pictures and multiple things and multiple sightings.
Legitimate people too, like real pilots, you know?
And the fact that like it's been proven that like Area 51 like it had existed. You know what I mean? There was already some reason.
Yeah.
Whatever the government was doing in those areas. Whatever those areas were. But like these things were proven and people who have worked there have said these things. But it's just.
I don't know. I don't know what to expect, man. Maybe nothing. Maybe
they'll just keep viewing us and we won't have the technology to ever catch up to them.
Well, maybe not in our lifetime, but eventually we will for sure.
If we last that long. I mean, I really think.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, who knows what's happening in the world? And
Man, there's some scary things going on in the world right now. Like I went down a rabbit hole. And just for context for anybody listening and viewing, I wouldn't consider myself like a conspiracy theorist. Like I don't spend a lot of time thinking about
But-
it. I don't like typically like go down rabbit holes, but last night I just started going down rabbit holes, and it was mostly with the popularity of UFO sightings and then the sources that were covering it. It just really got my attention, and man, I don't know.
Sorry.
Can I move? You want me to move this? a
No,
little
I
closer?
just
A little buzz.
there's a little
going on?
buzz, but I'm positive. I'm pretty positive that we can remove it.
Yeah.
So my sound guy's really good, you guys.
Yeah, I'm just I don't know. This might sound weird, but
Go
like
on.
I think I mentioned this on our camping trip that we had recently, but I would really like to have some sort of like UFO experience.
Lindsay has something.
I don't
want
want to get abducted and get probed. That's not what I'm saying. But I just would like to, see some UFOs, hear about some shit going on. I love the fact that I mentioned me getting probed, like, didn't even phase you. You looked me dead in the eyes, like, didn't even flinch.
It's like, yeah.
Like, is that a real concern of yours, too? Do you have fears of being probed, Mr. Diele?
No, I don't have any fears of being probed.
Well, you
but-
should have fears of being probed because they're going to come and probe us.
They're gonna probe us, but maybe. But Lindsay,
Well, you.
Lindsay
not me.
said that she's had some type of a
She's
weird.
been probed.
No, yeah, something like that.
I'm sorry, Lindsay. But go on.
She's had some sort of like UFO weird. Like she has this dream that like she like saw something out the window like when she was little, but it's like a reoccurring dream like that comes back to her, and like she was at her grandma's house, and it's like certain times that
You
always
were
like.
mentioning this, right? And
Yeah.
do other family members have some of the?
Oh,
similar
well, no, her,
experience?
yeah, her.
That was
That was like paranormal type shit. But yeah, like her grandma's sister, like, just basically would like just see like dead people. Like, and I don't know if that was like, it was just like, it wasn't like she was crazy either. It was just that like during certain random periods, she would like say that she saw shit. But like she was with her sisters one time, and then they all like, they didn't see it, but they all like felt something. But people are like, I used to not believe in any of that stuff. And I don't know, not that I necessarily do believe in it, but I don't doubt it anymore. Like, not
talking about
like
ghosts or aliens?
yeah, I don't know. Whatever, both of them.
Both of them. What's the difference?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I'm saying that the chances of either of them, like, and
There's probably a difference, to be clear.
yeah, but I mean, who's to say that, like, if there's aliens out there, there's definitely a good chance that ghosts are real. I really do think that. Like,
Man, I'm just like, if 2020 like taught me anything, it's to not be surprised by anything. Not surprised by anything. And I don't know. It's a little weird. It's strange. We've kind of just started to enter the almost second quarter. We're almost to the second quarter of 2021. It's been a lot more.
I mean, I'm glad that things are opening up finally. I'm so like,
Yeah.
it was just like when everything was shut down for like a long time, it just felt like the world was weird. So now that things are opening up,
It does start to feel normal a little bit, but aren't we still in purple tier? I think we might.
no, I
be.
think I think we just became red or something,
okay.
and that was like who's in charge of these colors, you guys? Red tier should be worse. Red alert.
I was always confused. I was like, red sounds bad.
Yeah, I know. And they're like, no, we were just in purple. I'm like, but what about purple hearts? Like,
Yeah.
that's a good thing, right? I
You're all
I don't know,
confused
but-
about my colors.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a moment in time when we were like the only county in purple from something I seen on Twitter. So it's extremely valid. I don't know. I was like, Merced's the only county in purple. I was like, damn.
It's like Atwater's over there. Like, oh, sorry, we're sanctuary city over here.
Yeah, it's probably because of Atwater. They never shut. For anybody that isn't from the area,
Yeah, Anchorage, Alaska, you people.
shout out to Anchorage.
And Hugh, Ohio. I don't know who's in Ohio listening
Shout
to
out
this.
to everybody that.
Anybody who's listening to this right now,
Anybody,
I
yeah.
appreciate you from the bottom of
But
my
for
heart.
all the people that are not from the area, the city known as Atwater that is in Merced County, they didn't shut down the entire pandemic. They were what was classified
As a sanctuary
as a
city.
sanctuary city. Yeah. So they pretty much stayed open to
Everyone wore
extent.
masks, everything else.
Yeah.
But like it's what everyone probably should have done, honestly. You know what I mean? Like in hindsight. Because
Yeah.
when it first happened, I just remember I went to the day of the before.
I don't know if that's an issue, but my audio levels look like so much lower than yours.
I think that it's fine. Honest, I think I talk a lot, but just talk.
Hello.
It's definitely. I literally talk so loud and into it that my audio levels are always way more. Don't worry,
Okay.
Duffy can turn them in post.
Okay.
I can cut that
Shout
out.
out Duffy.
Yeah, Duffy once
Nah,
again.
keep that in. Shout out Duffy.
Shout out. Yeah, seriously, you guys, the magic behind this podcast is Duffy.
Yeah.
And the noises, at least, just perfect sounding audio. I don't know.
Are you breaking down right now? Let's give a sentimental shout out to Duffy.
No,
Yeah.
seriously though. No, I literally talk to Lindsay all the time. I go, I don't know how to repay Duffy. I don't know how to tell him like thank you so much.
Well, it sounds like you owe Duffy a little bit of debt, me a little bit of debt.
Well, I guess we can settle this.
Oh, dude, yeah. When are we gonna show this film? Do we need to finish a beer before we do it?
Yeah, I already finished the
Did you
beer.
finish?
You got to catch
So,
up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll chug this beer, and then we will.
You want to watch it then?
I don't know.
We'll see. We'll just see what happens. It's okay. Chug the beer though. I also never found it before, so we got to find it, but we'll find it. Oh my God. But I don't know. I just think that this is what I do. I start a sentence before I have any idea what I'm about to say, like all the time, especially during my podcast, because I'm so afraid of like dead space. You know what I mean? Like, and especially when you're recording it, it'll only be a few seconds, and it's probably like a natural few seconds. But in my mind, I'm like, I need to say something, or like I need to do
It's okay
something.
for a little bit of silence in between the sentences. You
No, yeah, it is. But I'm saying sometimes it's just like I feel
I understand the
the
fear.
responsibility of the host to keep it going.
Yeah.
And so if someone's just like, yeah. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, it's awkward.
Yeah. Like even that little, like that
Yeah.
wasn't that long, but it
No.
feels like when you don't continue on, it just weird.
It's just weird. It's our new catchphrase.
Just weird.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But I think you're doing a great job, honestly. And I think the feedback that you've been getting, I don't know. How do you feel? Is it?
Yeah.
I don't want to say surprising because I've already said
No,
that. But
no,
like,
no. I mean,
I feel like everybody, for the most part, like it's catching on. I
It's
think
pretty-
you're getting like a nice slow growth. You know?
yeah, exactly. And that's all I want. Like I don't want something that's inorganic or that I feel like I have to have like an agenda or something. You know what I mean? Like I don't want that at all.
Yeah.
And then I just recently saw today that there was like a 209 podcast, right? What are you laughing at right now? I'm a cowboy hat.
No. Yeah, for a minute, as you were saying that, you were staring at me, and then you slowly drifted off to just staring at the mic. And I was like,
Dude, I zone out all the time, and Lindsay will be like, hey, and then she's
Oh
like,
my God.
she's like, where'd you go? And
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I was like,
I just watched your eyes drift off into the mic, and I was
It's
like,
so shiny.
I was like, is he looking at me? I was like, you look so cross-eyed right now.
What was your question that I was supposed to be answering?
Oh, I don't know,
It's
something
about
about
the podcast growth. Oh, well, and then I was saying, I just saw recently that there's a 209 podcast.
Yeah.
Right? And I was just like interested in it. So I was looking at their stuff this morning. Whatever, to each their own. But it's like doing what I'm doing, but in a more like media-based way where it seems a little more professional. And
Yeah.
this is like, hey, I'm just a dude and I'm just curious about stuff. So let me just talk to you and figure out what's you're passionate about. Because I feel like every time I talk to somebody who's passionate about something, it just helps me like feel like you know what I mean? It's just the classic surround yourself with people who have good energy. And
super inspired.
yeah, and it's weird because like I wouldn't necessarily say like I believe like in any type of I don't know what it's called like you know what I mean, like when people are like, oh, good energy, blah blah. But there is definitely something to it when you do like you're feeding off someone's like passion or whatever.
No, there totally is.
Then that's why I'm like the
Yeah.
whole like ghost thing. But you know what I mean? Like there's
Energy.
there's this
Energy,
thing
yeah.
that like out there that nobody knows what really its potential is or what you can do. But like one interaction with somebody can just change the course of your life.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Energy is one of the most powerful things, and that could be a good or a bad thing. I mean, I think a lot of people can relate to spending time around negative people and it just having like this like real negative impact on your life. And you could be like a real natural positive person, but like the minute you start like being engulfed around negativity, it just fucks up your whole train of thought. So like you said, man, being around inspired, motivated, kind, caring people is so valuable. You know what I mean? I could almost like relate it to what like the ultimate happiness is. Like material stuff aside, like when you're around people that are just super genuine, positive, happy, um, inspired, and love you, like there's no better feeling. You know what I mean?
No,
There's
seriously.
no better feeling.
There's nothing better than that. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like I feel like when you're a kid or when you're growing up, like just especially with a guy group of friends, like you're just you just talk shit to each other all the time.
Of course.
But like all the time.
Yeah.
But I feel like for a long time for me, like growing up, it's like I wanted to like I've always been into videos and like into like just making things. But like you just like let's say you do make something and then your friends make fun of you for it. You're kind of like less inclined to like keep it going.
Yeah,
And then I feel
yeah.
like there's a hump where you literally just stop caring. And for me, it was just like I think after like 25 is when I felt old. I felt like 25 was I was like I gotta stop celebrating my birthday. Like, you know what I mean? Like or just like
Birthdays start to feel weird.
yeah, it's not like
they're not like hell yeah. They're like reality checks.
yeah,
at this
exactly.
point,
And then when I
yeah.
was 26, it was kind of like oh, that's the age where I feel like I was just I'm gonna start doing things that I want to do. And then it
So
just slowly
important, man.
snowballed from
Yeah.
there. But like really 20 well, how old am I? 28? Yeah, 26, 27, 28. I feel like the past 3 years I've grown more than I ever have in my whole entire life.
Dude, that's so awesome, man.
And like it's like because I'm not afraid to be me. And for the longest time, I was necessarily
Yeah.
afraid to. And maybe I was like I don't think like if I started a podcast, let's say 2 years ago, I think I would quit on it. You know what I mean? I really do think that. And that's just like I sometimes like a lot of times I pick up something and then quit at it. And that's not like everything in my life, but like certain things like video games. That's why I'm not into video games. I'll get stuck on a level and then I just don't want to do it anymore.
Well, that's
I'm
okay.
like no, but I'm saying and like but it's just things like random things like that. But like
Yeah.
it's like without having me waited this long, then I don't think it would be going as well as it is.
I think yeah, for sure, man. I think you are a really motivated, hardworking getter-doner. I know as conversations that have been behind your back amongst your friends is like that's something like we've always said is like Micah just finds a fucking way, man. You find a way and you get shit done, dude. And you put yourself in the fire and you make it happen. And like, dude,
Put myself in some fire stat.
it's so inspiring because like, man, there's been so many times where like I felt like I didn't do that. But since like furthering our, friendship, partnership, and business and everything, like I've found myself way more willing to be able to like put myself in the line of fire and just fucking walk through it and get shit done. And dude, so you're super inspiring in that way, man.
Thank you, man. I
Talking,
appreciate that.
kind of like that conversation that we were having about really awesome, motivating, inspiring, cool people. I was kind of talking about you. I definitely as one of those people on my list. I hope that I could be the same for you,
Dude, yeah. Well, like, dude, if you've, my podcast, you come up like every episode. But I was talking about just because like you've been a mentor to me and things that like I think I have pros and you have pros that are completely opposites necessarily.
Yeah,
And like
yeah.
mine is like I'll just keep driving at stuff that like I don't necessarily know, but I'm like
dude.
I'm super willing to find out and stuff like that. Or
Yeah.
like not that you don't have that, but I'm saying in the sense of like business wise or whatever different wise of it. It's just like pushing you to keep doing what you want to do.
No, there's been many times that like I've had my head down and you've put my chin up, man, and been like let's push through this, let's figure this shit out. And I'm super grateful for it, man. And I'm somebody that is always willing to share everything I know about everything. Back to when we were talking about like our friendships when we were younger, how maybe your friends would make fun of you if you tried to do something because it was insecurity in the sense of like I could put him down and just make him feel stupid about it. You know what I mean? Because that's really what it is. But you also meet like friends back from that era, like in my life, that like they wouldn't be willing to show you everything they know, and they always wanted something to be like one up on you. And I realized like there's just different kinds of friendships, and being such a like social person, I've had so many different friends, and
You're
uh,
Jimmy's friend, right?
yeah, exactly. I've just been able to meet like a lot of different personalities and really like assess them and
Mm-hmm.
like understand their like wants from me and like the value that they have in me. And I have experienced like people like they want you to like grow, but they don't want you to know more than them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they always want to make sure that like you know a little bit less than
Well, because
them.
a lot of people who are like good at stuff, or like good at stuff, or like who have a skill, like
Yeah.
there's always like I don't know how
They
many.
want to be the best.
Yeah, there's a certain
Yeah.
percentage, but like certain percentage like don't want you to come up and then start being better than them or start doing things that they
But
don't know.
that stems from insecurity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's somebody being insecure about their own skill set or their own self, that they have to make sure that the people around them can't get better than them. And that's something that I've always felt was super weak and something I've never tried to do to my friends. As long as I've been like conscious of that,
Mhm.
um, I love it when like my friends just get super fucking good at shit. And like,
Mhm.
there's something I've experienced with you is to where like, obviously I have been doing filmmaking and photography and all that stuff years before you
Mhm.
were. But, you know, now there will be moments where I'm like, dude, like super, like genuinely like impressed. I'm gonna be like, oh man, like I like it because that impressed me. That
Mhm.
made me feel like, okay, like
Yeah.
this motherfucker's knowing some shit. I
Yeah.
gotta make
Yeah.
sure
Yeah.
I know my shit too.
Yeah.
Not in a competitive sense, but like, dude, the better you are, the better I
Yeah,
am. You know what I mean?
and vice versa as well.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's the whole thing. Is like I for a while like it was just like I didn't want to use Premiere in the very beginning because I was used to Final Cut or like you know what I mean, things like that, like little things like that, and it's just like jumps I knew I had to make. You know what I mean? And then I'm like Premiere, crap, back to ground zero. That's what you feel like when you're like
Yeah,
you're
for
learning
sure.
something. But now like I'm like Premiere is like so widely vast and After Effects as well, like that, like you literally are always discovering stuff. And like
Yeah.
the best thing about, or the funniest thing about Premiere to me, or Premiere is the video editing software we use.
If you don't know,
Yeah.
yes.
But,
And After Effects is also.
After Effects as well, yeah. Photoshop, Lightroom, all that. Adobe. Shout out to Adobe. I would love you for you to sponsor me, but that's besides the point. The point
Gotta
is,
keep inserting those sponsors.
yeah, you know what I mean? Exactly.
Potential
Somebody's about to
sponsors,
catch.
Yeah. Go on.
But I was saying like, I don't know what I was saying. No, I was saying something about like you can literally like you always keep learning new stuff with it. Like you're never gonna be like, oh, I know everything about Premiere.
No,
It's like-
and I think we had talked about this yesterday. Is you don't need to know everything. Literally, like it's like looking at the program, like After Effects, so to say. It could be extremely intimidating because you're like, what the fuck do all these little fucking things do?
Yeah.
But you realize I don't need to know about all of them. I just need to know about the ones that I want to do,
Mhm.
you know, and that's it. Like for me, it's like I learn as the problem comes up.
Yeah.
For
yeah.
instance, I was like, I really need to figure that out. And then I figure it out. You know,
Mhm.
I don't necessarily need to do a whole course
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
whole thing
Oh,
because
no,
I won't
hell no.
retain that
Yeah,
information.
and like
you know,
no one's gonna retain that. Like maybe there's a few people that might, but
there's some geniuses out there
yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
But like most of the time, it's just like until you come up, like you're saying, come to the problem, and there's gonna be a solution to that problem. You can probably sit through something, figure it out. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Everything is for sure. You can learn it online on YouTube.
man, fucking
Shout out to YouTube.
YouTube's been
do you
my
sponsor
college,
anything?
dude. Yeah,
Dude,
I don't know.
I don't think they do. I think they should have
if you
money.
get enough views on your video, it's kind of like getting sponsored.
I guess that's what they're like. What else do you want from us?
Yeah, like, come on,
How much do you think they get paid?
YouTube.
I'm just saying, like, if they're giving
I've
so much
looked it
money,
up. I've looked it up, and I don't have the numbers for you right now because I forget
yeah, I don't
everything
blame
within
you.
a week. But it's in the billions. Billions of dollars.
I bet you they pay out $1 billion too.
I would
for
bet you
sure,
they pay out $1
yeah.
billion. Yeah.
Well, there's like people who are like make millions off of video. I mean, or not millions, but like what is it? 1 million views is $10,000, right?
From
something-
what I've watched, it's
Yeah.
about 10,000 per million. So do the math. I mean, there's people,
Who have-
channels that have billions collectively
Jake
in
Paul,
views.
fucking Mr. Beast,
Joe
whoever,
Rogan.
Joe Rogan,
Fucking
everybody.
you name it, man.
Yeah.
There's people that got billions of views in total view count.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I'll tell you what. When your YouTube channel and podcast starts getting monetized, you let me know how much they pay. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's
Cut
the
me a little first episode check. You know?
for the. It's like you're like the guy who drew the Nike symbol. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's like, man, I only got $25 for this.
Fuck.
The naming rights for this freaking. I don't know.
Yeah, dude, the creator of Nike, he's from Oregon.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Their headquarters are there because Chris lives there, so I've driven past it a couple times. And it's like the Nike headquarters and Adidas headquarters are pretty close to each other there. And then both buildings, you're just like, what?
That's so cool. Honestly, I'm like, the fact that it's a stone's throw, essentially, from us.
Yeah.
Like, we could drive up to it.
Dude,
it's pretty fucking crazy.
California.
No, yeah, for sure. California is
the
fucking
best.
dope.
I
Like,
love it. Taxes, I get it, whatever. I don't understand it, so that's probably why.
Okay, look, we're coming from the place of what you can do in California and what's around. We're not talking politics. We're not talking taxes, because we could create a whole rap sheet of fucking problems in California and why it's a shitty place to live, for sure. But if you're talking like geographically, is that a word?
Geographically.
Geographically?
Yeah.
Yes, I knew I was going to fuck that up.
I'm no geographer, but.
Yeah. Geographically.
Geographically, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
I'm no expert, but.
It's one of the coolest places to live, for sure. I mean,
oh, for sure.
It's so diverse. Think about it.
And like, we live in a place where like all growing up, everyone's like, there's nothing to do here. I hate this place. You know what I mean? Like all the time people are saying that. And like, it's like, you just had a shitty attitude towards life. Like, and in reality, like you moved somewhere else in California, or you could have moved somewhere else to another state, but like.
The grass is always greener on the other side.
Exactly. And there's some people who move in Merced are like, wow, this is cool. And what's really cool is that like when I go downtown, I'm like, this is gonna start turning into like what I think of like a Mariposa, where people are like, oh, this is a pretty cute downtown. You know what I mean? Like people are gonna, I feel like especially people who come from out of town to watch their kids graduate or whatever. If you've never been to Merced before, you come downtown, you're like, oh wow, the El Capitan, Tioga, Mainzer, the theater, you know what I mean? ASIP, whatever. They all look like cool.
No, there's definitely a lot of growth going on downtown, and I'm excited about it. And
I'm so happy.
I just hope it has like a positive impact on the community, and I hope that just the community in town will furthermore grow, and things will be great.
And I think that's the thing, is that we need to come together, and that's what I've been trying to promote on this. Well, I'm saying like it seems like there's always been like groups and cliques in Merced or in any town, you know what I mean? But it's just like we don't do anything like together as a community. Like let's have an event where there's a concert and there's people and there's fundraisers and there's booths and there's like things like that. But it's always like a niche type of thing. It's like this is the farmers market. There's the flea market. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like a.
Well, I think on one hand, it's okay for like sub communities to have like their own type of things.
I'm not saying
no, I'm not saying you're saying that. But no,
that's exactly what you're saying.
Maybe I am saying that's what you're saying. Maybe that's what you said. I don't know. Maybe that's what I interpreted. No, but yeah, the stronger a community, the better the city, the better the people.
Yeah, exactly.
But there is some real issues that are going on, and the amount of good that's happening, it can't necessarily like. The more good that happens doesn't mean that bad stuff isn't happening. You know what I mean? And I don't know. The homeless situation is crazy.
And it must be
crazy.
And it's all of California. Like it's not
and
just.
These aren't homegrown homeless people. To be clear, like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, you've probably heard the rumor too. I don't know, that I've heard a rumor that like they get like shipped here, but
from
pretty
the
much
Bay Area,
from the Bay Area, other places. You know what I mean?
Because as somebody that's lived in Merced for 22 years, I moved here when I was 5. I'll be 27 next month. I felt like I almost could name every single homeless person.
Growing
for a while,
up,
right? Yeah,
like, they were the kind of like.
I recognized them all. They were like, just
backwards man, backman, or
Wolfman, Goldman,
Bagman.
Excuse me, Goldman. There was like
Goldman has a house now.
Shout out Goldman. He came on up, man. That's homegrown right there.
He's like, hey.
Hey, hold on,
He
hold
kind
on.
of reminds me of like Flavor Flav.
Totally.
Like, huh?
Totally. But anyways, he does look like Flavor Flav for sure. We've been able to see like out of nowhere, bro. Like I would always skate to the skate park from when I was like 8, 9 years old. I was already like out on the streets type of shit. You know what I mean? I just like seen the same homeless people my whole life. You know what I mean? Up until like, almost feel like 5 years ago, bro. It's just been
It
like
probably happened like when we
crazy.
first graduated high school. You know, it probably
Yeah.
like slowly, but then like the more you get to drive around and see things just grow up.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like, and then it just like, you're like, oh, there's
Well,
a lot more. And then
well,
like,
yeah, there's encampments. There's encampments all over the
dude,
place.
I saw I went to Modesto one time with Rafa to Gallo, we were doing yoga.
Yeah.
And on the way to Gallo, I like looked to the right side and underneath like there's a river on this. There's a river and there's like an embank, like a
You're talking
overpass.
about like it's like over off of it might be 9th Street, Modesto. Viewers, forgive me. I'm not.
Yeah,
fucking
I couldn't
super-
tell you.
But I know you're talking. You're headed northbound on 99. You look to the right, and there's that bridge that's over there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And dude,
I've been over there. I did a bunch of photography over there one time.
one time me and you and Kayam were doing photography for your class one time. Remember that?
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. Right over there, I looked to my right, and there was like a whole encampment, like I'm talking like booths and rows and like multiple
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
And then I was like, holy crap! And I was telling that to Roth, and Roth was like, dude, he's like, they just cleaned that out like a couple months ago.
Yeah,
Like
bro.
he was like, it used to be way worse. And I was
Yeah.
like, what? Like I hadn't seen that. It was kind of like a shocker, but it's also like one of those things where it's like, well, if I don't see it every day, it's kind of gonna go out of your mind. But like,
Yeah, I mean, out of sight,
as
out of mind.
everything in
Yeah,
life.
out of sight, out of mind. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's just Merced. It for sure is Merced, but I would almost say almost the entire Central Valley is like. I don't want to use the word plagued with homelessness because it's not a plague.
Well, and
They're
it's not-
human beings.
I don't
and they're
even think
people,
it's just
you know what I
us
mean?
either, though, because
Yeah.
like LA apparently has a stupid
Well, of
amount.
course.
You know what I mean?
But,
And San
I
Francisco too.
We worried about the Central Valley over there. It's a Central Valley
Yeah,
podcast.
that's true.
Um,
Yeah, hi, this is the 209 podcast.
Yeah. No, I mean, really, it's just everywhere. But the problems that are going on in the Central Valley, like, I don't know. I would like to hear experts talk about it and it be talked about more because I'm not an expert. And I would just like it to be conversed about a little bit more. Talk about solutions, talk about things we could do, and, figure out how to help these people. There's got to be thousands upon thousands of homeless people from Merced to Modesto. Like,
Oh, for sure.
I'm like, I don't want to make myself look like an idiot and like try to talk numbers, but I feel like there's got to be
Multiple
almost like
thousands.
1,000 in Merced. Like,
Yeah.
I almost feel like it's that much. It could be.
It
less,
could
but
be. Yeah.
I don't know.
But hundreds, for sure, hundreds.
Hundreds,
You know what
I think
and
that's
like
safe to
over
say.
200,
Yeah.
300, 400, for sure.
Yeah. And I'm just like, dude, like, and it's such a ignored community.
And it's not
isn't that
just...
fucked up because it's the community that needs more help than
Yeah.
anybody.
Well, no, and the whole thing
Yeah.
with like, it's homeless people, and then the crazy thing, like, I really truly wonder how many homeless people do they have accounted for in the United States?
It's
Like,
hard.
like,
yeah.
and like, I feel like everybody sees homeless people, everybody knows it's a problem, but no one ever tries to.
And granted,
I'm sure there are some people, but you know what I mean.
there definitely is, people that do help, and there's, mental institutions because a lot of the homeless people are suffering from mental illnesses. But
It's crazy.
I also understand why people are a little bit reluctant to help because you almost have to understand how the streets work and how to deal with those kind of people. And if you're just an average Joe and like you
You're-
don't know shit, like it's super intimidating.
Well, and
because
you're
all
also trying to get by themselves. You know what I mean?
well, yeah, but it's intimidating to even communicate with a homeless person. I think for the average person, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because they're viewed as such a separate entity.
Outcast.
You know what I mean? So I think there's a little bit of like negative stigma that I think with a little bit more education could raise awareness, but it's to an extent, right? Because I mean, there is some real fucking crazy motherfuckers out there, and there
Yeah.
are some people some homeless people that have like hardcore mental illnesses. And I've personally, like, I feel like I'm very secure. Like, I'm not a worried person. Like, if I'm out in the streets, if I'm out and about, um, I don't necessarily fear. I'm I don't have fear of being out and about, you know? Like, I'm not afraid. But there's been times when like you've like been around like some people that got some crazy mental illnesses, and I'm like, man, like I'm a little bit on edge right now. Like I gotta be a little bit careful because this motherfucker is real unpredictable, you know?
Yeah.
And that just goes back to the point of the mental illnesses and how that's a whole nother thing you could bring up is mental health awareness, you know?
Well, think about like 40 years ago, there was no such thing as mental health.
That's
You know
what's
what I
fucking
mean?
crazy. You know what I mean? And I think we're figuring out that like the mental health is affecting.
The whole nation.
Well, that's a weird way to say it because everyone has mental health, but people that have mental health issues is much more prevalent than we could necessarily understand, you know what I mean? Or perceive.
And I think maybe a lot of mental health ended up coming more recently in the sense of like with the whole aspect of technology and things, like
Yeah.
it definitely
yeah.
affects mental health. But at one point, it was like everybody had the same technologies. You know what I mean? It was a TV, radio, whatever, simple things. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Where like you can only have so much of it, or like it seemed like that. You know what I mean? Growing up, I'm saying.
Oh, for
but,
sure, for
like,
sure.
now with
well,
the
I would say
whole
with
phone-
social media,
yeah, exactly. I'm saying
it's like exacerbated people's mental health issues. You know what I mean? Like for it can, I don't know. Social media is such a coin toss because on one hand it's fucking great, right? You
Yeah.
can do fucking great things, and then on the other hand it's the worst thing in the world.
It's so addictive.
You know, I mean, that's just like one
Part
of the
of it,
issues, you know,
yeah.
because you're talking about mental health, the type of like, you know, insecurities and projections and standards that get put on, you know what I mean, can furthermore succeed all those type of issues that people have. And it's just crazy, man. We just live in crazy times. I'm just I'm enjoying the ride. Yeah.
Yeah, and the funny thing to me is like 2020 was like such a bad year for like a lot of things, but like for us, it probably was like a really good year. You know what I mean? Like growth wise.
2020 was growth wise the best year of my life, bro.
Well, and it was like
the best year of my life.
You had like not the government necessarily, but you know what I mean? Like because they were like everyone was on unemployment, like they were like kind of like it was like this is the first time in my life where I felt, hey, this is the one time you have to try to do what you want, so you might as well freaking
because
try.
you lost your job, I lost my job for a moment, and we were able to, you know, I guess we just at that time had a little bit more time than we could have ever hoped for, and we figured some shit out. And from there, we've been able to just continue figuring it out, and it's great. You know, I think I'm just at a point in my life where, I have direction, and I know the talents that I have, and I'm still pursuing a talent-oriented goal and job. You know what I mean? I haven't given up on my dreams to where I'm willing to work a 9 to 5, and I have no hate on that. And I'm not even saying if you work that kind of job, you sacrificed what you were passionate about. I do not think that, you know. I just know that the only thing I have is my life right here.
Yeah.
This is all I got that I know for sure, you know.
Yeah, nothing else is
I
guaranteed.
don't know anything else,
Whatever
you know what I
people
mean?
believe, it's just chance at the
Yeah.
end of the day.
And I just have to make this work the way I want my life to be fucking how I want my life, so to say. I got to make this work the way I want my life to be, you know? If
But-
this was a fucking book,
What is
right?
yeah.
I want this to be a dope ass story, you know? And I want it to be the story that I want it to be, you know? So
No, I'm writing my own story as well, but right along your story probably. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like,
Space Dust IPA
Yeah, man.
sponsored this conversation.
seriously.
Cheers, man.
Cheers. I'm almost done.
Yeah. And that's why I'm super happy that I got a homie and
Yeah, it's dude. I could not
Like
do this
you,
alone.
dude.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, if
Yeah.
I was trying to do film or something, but I would be so way more nervous about things. Like, it's like I think like when we get a job or something like that, I'm like, okay, like at least I have Jimmy. And I think like you might think, like, you know what I mean? For whatever reason, like, okay, at least I have my, you know what I mean? At least you're not alone going through something or
No.
having to figure out something that you've never
this is a
been done
journey that we've
before.
been able to experience together, and it's really fucking cool, man.
It
It's
is.
really cool because it's like having a sibling, and like you grow up and you got to experience the same shit together with them. You know what I mean? We're essentially like brothers in this fucking filmmaking, photography, business, entrepreneurship
Friendship,
journey.
yeah.
And we've been able to be like, you know what? We get to fucking do this shit together.
And like I think every time what we think about is like when we are like at a job having fun, we're just like, I can't believe we're getting paid for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think it's just until we get to like there'll be a certain point to where we're like, it's a job, you know what I mean? I mean, and that's good because that's what it needs to be eventually, you know what I mean? But like the process to get there, I'm saying in the sense of like there'll be times that we're gonna have to get way more seriously than we have at all in the past
For
ever.
sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
for sure.
to me, it's just like we're gonna grow with each other in the sense of we know how to handle each situation.
Yes, most definitely. I completely agree with that. And yeah, I think, you know, there's a lot of growing that we still need to do, and we will continue to do that.
Exactly.
But you know what? Most of
What?
my idols and people I look up to are in their 50s. And what I keep hearing, you know, is like, you don't ever stop learning. You don't ever stop figuring it out. And what you thought you had figured out at 25 or 30, you may look back at 40 and been like, why did I think that? That's ridiculous, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm just like not taking life with such of like, I'm not taking a direction to where like I need to know everything and I need to know. I'm just gonna enjoy this journey. I'm gonna try to be the best I could be and figure out as much as I can on the way. And when I look back on my deathbed, I'll just be like, that was dope.
Yeah.
That was dope. That was fun.
Well, me and it just reminds me and Lindsay met this girl in Mammoth after we left Alabama Hills,
You
right?
told me about it a little bit.
Yeah, but yeah, so this chick that's been riding her bike, I really hope she listens to this, but she's been riding her bike from San Diego to all the way to Washington.
That's amazing.
And she's just this chick who like worked at a brewery, she's been a manager at multiple restaurants, just like a total like I don't know, I would say like bar girl, not like in a bad way, but like a bartender type girl, you know what I mean? Just like super friendly, outgoing. But
She's like a very outgoing personality.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. And like, so we ran into her at this coffee place, and Moose like went up to her, so we
Moose is
naturally,
your dog?
yeah,
Yes.
Moose, my dog, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So we just started talking to her, and then we were like just talking back and forth, and like I was just like totally being myself, you know what I mean? And then she was asking us where we're from, stuff like that, and then and then I ended up bringing up my astronaut photo.
Yeah.
And I showed her
Super
that,
dope.
and she just started cracking up laughing. She was like, "You brought that camping with you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And Lindsay was like, "No, it gets better." Told her how when Lindsay got home from work one day, she was like rushing to do a pack and stuff like that. And I was like, "Oh, perfect timing." I walked downstairs. I'm in my astronaut costume. She was like, "Well, you're in an astronaut costume?" And she's like so confused by it. I was like, "Yeah, but a lot of Westerns are done over there." And I was like, "Me and my friend have a short film." And I just kept talking. She was like, "Wait, you and your friend have a short film?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's like a Western." And she was just like blown away. She's like, "Please send that to me, blah, blah." But she was like, "You're my favorite person I've met like all since this road trip. Like, you're just like
That's
so
dope.
funny. Like,
That's
you know what I
so
mean?"
cool.
And it was just like so like a genuine conversation that just happened because two people were in the same spot at the same time. And Lindsay kept saying like, she's the girl version of you, Micah. Like the way she was like acting and like she was just wild and crazy and just like like she was just like Lindsay was just like, it's just funny because like that's like the girl version of you, just like a girl who's just like a little out there, but like knows what she's doing with her life. And she doesn't know what she's doing, but she
knows what she wants.
Yeah, she knows what she wants and she's confident
yeah.
about it.
Okay. So here is
Our short film,
A Picture Perfect Death in the Wild West.
Slow intro.
The intro always reminded me of Westworld.
Oh, I love Westworld. I only watched the first season, but I love it. 4K, just in case you guys might know. And I'm really proud. We added every single sound you guys hear, even our voices.
Yes.
Well. This ain't little Billy Roscoe himself. Looks like you chose a good place to die, boy.
That's funny. I was thinking the same thing for you, Jimmy Blanco.
Answer me this. Them legends, them stories, they really true?
I look so ugly.
There's a little truth to every story now, isn't there?
Well then,
It wasn't even lit,
boy,
the cigar.
riddle me this.
No, the whole time it wasn't lit. That was
I
like
know.
the one I thought the whole time.
I went through like 4
Well,
swishers.
I see it in one of two
Yeah,
ways.
just from in your mouth.
You dead, tied up on the back of my horse right there. Or you dead in that grave. Either way, you gonna die. Let's dance then, boy.
You play a really good bad guy, by the way.
You know, in all my life, I was not a good actor. I mean, you can tell that I can't even do an impression of myself, but... You guys might notice this scene from, what is it? The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Clint Eastwood. Mexican standoff. Nasty. Kayam. Hella blonde hair.
Did you just take a goddamn picture of me?
I reckon I did.
Why don't you go ahead and do another little pose for me? Now go ahead and aim that gun up in the sky real high and give it a little kiss for me. Well, wait a minute. Now, we're almost done. Just take the picture. Is that all, Billy? You know, I reckon that's it. Damn, I'm a good shot.
I was really happy how I figured out how to do all the graphics and everything.
yeah,
Now that's
like
what
how
I
much
call
do
a picture-perfect death in the Wild West.
This is a good script. Like, it's unique. You know what I mean? It's not like a... I can't...
We did all right, my friend.
Yeah. Freaking short film competitions. This is it. Real talk and whatnot.